Now, this could be a new term for many of you. If you are lucky enough to have gone into a gym that teaches rowing, usually what it will amount to is going through the order of your stroke, which is, of course, very important and is something we talk about all the time. However, just getting the order of your stroke down is only one aspect of rowing. The second, and possibly more important, is what's called rowing with ratio. Now, another way to think about this is the timing of your stroke or the efficiency of your stroke. So, when you pull back through one stroke, you have two phases. You have a power phase coming back, and you have a recovery phase going forward. Now, there's a total amount of time in that stroke. If you're newer, if you're not driving quite as hard, or you're just not as familiar with a rowing stroke, many times you are going to be rowing pushing back at the same amount of time that you are pushing forward. Now that is called rowing with a very low ratio. The timing is almost identical. What we want to work towards an elite ratio is 2 to 1 or 1 to 2. 1 second coming back, 2 seconds going forward. So the timing of your stroke is spent much more on the drive, taking much more time to catch your breath and to recover. Now I'm going to give you 3 tips today on improving your ratio. So again, this is the efficiency part of rowing. It's one thing to just go through the order correctly. That's good for power generation. It's good for keeping yourself safe. But if you truly want to improve as a rower, you need to work on your ratio. Now, our goal is always to widen the ratio. We want to push back as fast as we can, and we want to recover as slow as we can at a set stroke rate. So, 3 tips. Tip number 1, you need to be working down at lower rates, so lower strokes per minute. Now, it's very easy to get on the machine and just blast off in the 30s or 40s. That's fine if you're just purely looking for a workout, but if you actually want to improve, you need to get down into lower rates. So 18, 20, 22 strokes per minute. What that does is it allows you to drive back nice and hard, recover nice and easy. So rowing at a 20 with ratio, what that would look like is a big drive back, fast back, and just a nice easy recovery. And what we are doing is spending our energy and time on the push, and we're going nice and slow back to the catch. So again, look at the timing. It's only about 1 second, maybe a little more than 1 second coming back, and I'm pausing and I'm slowly recovering back to the catch. So that's tip number 1. Stay down at some lower rates. Tip number 2. We want to be able to drive our split time lower at a set stroke rate. That is ultimately the goal of rowing, is to not have to go up into the 30s, into the 40s. Row down in the low 20s, even in the teens, and be able to keep our split time nice and low. If you are doing that, it gives you a lot of leeway when you start pushing that strokes per minute up higher to carry your split time a little bit lower. So that is your tip number 2. Tip number 3, find a mantra that you can say to yourself. We like to teach a mantra that's power, patience, patience. So, in the power phase, 1 second, remember that's the goal. So we have 1 word, push back, power. Now, 2 second count on the recovery, patience, patience. So power coming back, patience, patience. Power, patience, patience. Power, patience, patience. Now, you can come up with any mantra you'd like. That's just the one that we use. It's an easy one to remember, and it helps you actually think through. Push back hard in the power phase, 1 count. Slow that recovery, 1, 2. Have some patience on the recovery. So those are your 3 tips. Work down at low rates. 18, 20, 22. You can also get a phenomenal workout down there, so don't feel like you're cheating yourself. It's actually the opposite. 2, make sure you're driving that split time as low as possible at each stroke rate. And 3, come up with a mantra. So that was today. This is the ratio. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and hope to see you guys soon.